There's one thing that we should know about the Lord. It's this. It's whatever he does, he doesn't do it part way. He's not interested in a surface deal. It's always through and through for him. This week, the Torah portion is Kedoshim, and it's in the middle of the book of Leviticus, which is one of the more difficult areas of the Bible to read, right? The book of Leviticus, it's full of all these stipulations. It's full of all these very detailed instructions. And most of the book, it seems like, is being written just for priests. But in Leviticus 19, in verse 2, the Lord addresses not the priests, not just Moses and the priests, but for the first time, and really the only time in the whole book of Leviticus, he turns to the whole congregation of Israel. It says, Adonai spoke to Moses saying, speak to all the congregation of Bnei Israel. Speak to the whole assembly of the children of Israel and tell them, you shall be Kedoshim. You shall be holy ones, for I am holy. You know, in every nation had priests. And priests are always the elite, and the elite and the priesthood is always supposed to be above the others. But here the Lord tells Moses to address the entirety of the congregation, the whole nation, all the people of Israel, and say, you will be holy because I am. You will be unique, set apart because I am. It wasn't just for the head. It wasn't just for the priests. It was for the whole body, because what God does, he does through and through. He doesn't just want a head that is holy. He wants a whole body, a whole nation that is holy. Because God's people were called to demonstrate who he is. When you then read through Leviticus 19, the way holiness is manifested, the way holiness is demonstrated is in very practical ways. It's in the ways that we plant our fields. It's in the ways that we harvest our fields. And he says, hey, don't take everything from the edges. If there's fruit that fell on the ground, leave it there. Leave it for the poor. Leave it for the outsiders. Leave it for the others. Be generous. Don't be hoarding, because and then he says, I am the Lord, because that's who I am. The holiness is expressed in saying, he says, love your neighbor as yourself. In a world in which me firstness leads to murder and violence and taking, he says, I want you to think of others the way you think of yourself. He says, holiness is expressed in the way we do business. It's in the way that we administer justice. It's expressed thoroughly. It's not simply about religious things on the surface that someone can see. Holiness is that uniqueness that expresses his character is to fully pervade our lives. It's to fully pervade the people of Israel, not just the priests, but the whole people. And the Lord had said in Exodus 19, you'll be a kingdom of priests, a whole kingdom of priests, that we would be a light to the nations. Because God's desire is that his glory would fill the whole earth. He says, the whole earth is mine, and you'll be a kingdom of priests. It's not that holiness is supposed to just be for this head nation or these head people or for the elite, but God likeness in character is intended to pervade Israel and the nations, that all would be who God intended them to be. God doesn't want to do a surface work. He doesn't want just a few to be holy. He wants all of us, not just one nation to be holy and set apart, but ultimately all the families of the earth, so that we would please him, so that we would be like him, so that we would be who he intended us to be. So on this day, may we be holy unto the Lord. May the thoughts of our hearts, may the words of our mouths, may the things that we do make him smile. May they be pleasing in his sight. Amen.